Or you guys can ignore this for now. It'll come up here in a bit. But here's the deal. If you guys have been paying attention, you will have noticed that, or you'll know that I have a birthday coming up on Sunday. And while I was like, well, I always buy a cue for my birthday, but I'm not going to this year because I just bought some at Derby City. I'm a grown man, so I'm allowed to change my mind, and I bought a cue. And that's what this is. So this is an unboxing. Right now, the title of this video is all mysterious and shit. You don't know what it is. A couple people know what it is. In a few days, I'll change it. I'll put the manufacturer and stuff in the title. But for now, you guys get to be surprised. There's apparently going to be a bunch of stuff in this box. I don't know how much. I don't know how big of a mess it's going to be. But I just had it down here. All that was doing was taking this tape off. So, in the box, we have, I'm going to hope that's just packing material. I'll find out. And then we have a case, El Cheapo Predator case, which is just used for packing material. We have more shit. That's empty. Okay. So inside here, I know I'm making you guys wait to see what the key is. Kitty's cat toy. This is one of the Tiger extension doohickey thingamabobs that I'm not super thrilled with. But I didn't have any. I just think that the way they attach on the cue is kind of ugly. The guy did find the original bumper for the cue, and that's what this is. Very cool, because I won't be using this Tiger stuff. I'm almost positive. But I got it. And add to my ever-growing list of extensions. Now I'm going to try to open this case up and just take out some of the, there's some shafts that came with it that we don't care about. Not nearly as much. So I'm just going to try to take these out. This right here is a Jacoby Ultra shaft. It says EH Ultra Pro by Jacoby. It does not have a serial number. All of my other Jacobys are just like Jacoby Ultras. They have serial numbers. That's what this is. This is what I affectionately call my B shaft. I have another identical shaft with the serial number ends with an A, so that's my A shaft. See, I'm all clever and shit. You guys didn't know that, did you? This is my B shaft, and for about the 6 years that I played with Schon cues and Jacoby Ultra shafts, that was my main shaft. On this cue, if this cue becomes any kind of a daily driver, it's probably going to be the same thing. That cue should fit it, and it will be the same thing. So here's another shaft. This shaft here is the original shaft for the cue. And you might be able to tell a little bit from the ferrule that this ain't no spring chicken right here. This is fairly old and fairly filthy. Then there's another shaft. My understanding is that this cue originally had 2 shafts, and one of them got damaged somehow, so the person bought a replacement for it, and that's this one. This is a replacement shaft, also filthy as hell. Yeah, this one has one of those Kamui clear doohickey thingamabobs on it. I bet I can clean both these up fairly well, though. Now we'll get to the big reveal. For those of you still awake, from 1980, 83 until about 2011, I was a Schon guy. And then I switched to Jacoby's. I briefly switched to Tim Scruggs, and then to a Southwest since last July. This is a Schon. And you might not think so when you look at these points. You're seeing this at the same exact second that I am. These are sharp points on a Schon, and how that seems a little bit weird. It's also got a new wrap. This is the Spanish bolt that I really like. And if you look at this stuff down here, it just looks like kind of old school. That's why when I looked at it, I thought, well, that looks like kind of old school. We don't have gobs of history about this cue. This is what I was talking about with the tiger thing. It just looks kind of stupid with threads on the outside. They just look kind of stupid. Anyway, so what little I know about this cue, oh, and there's the logo, is that this cue was bought new in the early 80s. And unfortunately, we haven't been able to narrow it down more than that just yet. I guess the guy bought it, for whatever reason, didn't like it that much, and gave it to a friend of his like almost immediately. That friend of his is who I just bought it from. A guy named Jeff from Long Island, one of my YouTube guys, one of my YouTube follower guys. He had this cue completely refinished and rewrapped with the Spanish bull, he said late last year. And I'm going to look at it a little bit more closely because I haven't yet, and to see, how it looks. I would not say that it looks brand new because, well, it's not brand new. I am not seeing any flaws. I see a little speck right there in the finish that may be able to be rubbed out. Not entirely sure. To me the points seem shorter than, I guess I got enough cues I could compare. But just looking at them, they look like they're shorter than others. And I'm not saying that's bad. This is one of the things about this cue is this is almost 100% a Rundy era Schon. It's got the sharp points. Everything about it just kind of just screams old school. These little inlays, and even just the spacing, the way they're on there, they're just like, it just kind of screams this is an old cue, but it is also in fantastic condition. So this is a decision that I'm going to have to make. But first, before I make that decision, I'm going to see what the hell else was in this case, because there's something else in this case. And I don't know. Oh, it's one of those extensions that goes in the middle of the cue, which I don't use. I have a couple of these. I tried them. I'm fairly short, so you'd think I'd need all these extensions, but I guess I've just been playing long enough without them that I don't. So anyway, so I've been playing pool since '83, and right now, well, I have 36 pool cues right now. But there's only been a few times buying those cues where I thought, this could be my new main cue. This has the potential to replace whatever I had been using. I went from my McDermott D12, because that was the only cue I had, to a Schon R12. And then that was the only cue I had for 20 years, that Schon R12. Then I went to a Schon SL10. And then I discovered peach hours and got a really nice peach hour that I really liked and really played well with. Then essentially I won a Carmelli. And I was like, well, hell, custom cues, cool. Didn't like it that much, stuck with the peach hour. Then I won a Scruggs, liked it a lot. Liked that Scruggs a lot. Like, oh, I'm set for life now. And then I bought a Southwest. And with the Scruggs and with the Southwest, and really with that SL10, those are the only times where I was like, this has a really good chance of being my new cue. As long as I can make a ball with it, as long as it doesn't completely suck, or that I don't completely suck playing with it, this has the potential to be my new cue. This is the same way. This cue may very well replace my Southwest as my daily driver. It may. I'm not saying it will, I'm saying it may. A lot of that is going to come down to, of course, kind of make a ball with it, that type of deal. But for me, I get ego involved into it, and it's like a street cred thing on a cue. I am inordinately obsessed with Southwest cues and always have been. I love that Southwest, and I love the fact that I own a Southwest. Yeah, this is my ego talk. That's the way it is. This is a Schon, of which I have a bunch, but this is a sharp-pointed Old Schon from the first half of the 80s. I may get that narrowed down. This guy absolutely has some street cred. And a lot of people might go, oh, no, it don't. It's a Schon. But I think those people would be wrong. And so I have to give some thought to, does this cue have more street cred than my, 13-year-old Southwest? Does it? Don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. I'm going to have to think about it quite a bit over the next several days. Which cue is cooler for me to have? Because I don't really care what anybody else thinks. You guys can jump on the comments and tell me what you think, but this is going to be my decision of what is going to be my cue going forward. Okay, so my B shaft fits right on here, just like we knew it would, or just like I guess I hoped it would, because while every Schon I've ever had or seen had the same diameter and the same joint pin, this is before all that. My understanding is there was no line of cues from Schon back during this time. Everything was a one-of-a-kind custom deal. So for all I knew, this was going to have some goofy-ass Czechoslovakian joint pin that nothing would ever thread onto except the original shit. That is not the case. This got threaded right on. So I'm not going to do my normal stuff with all of my shafts. I usually would do it's just a superstition, a ceremonial first shot with any new cue I get. I joke to myself, well, if I miss this shot, then I have to throw the cue away or to get rid of it. And usually I'll do that with every shaft. But in this case, it's a little bit weird. If this guy ends up being something I use, it will be the B shaft and the A shaft. Remember the serial number thing I talked about? That would be my backup shaft. These guys would just go into one of my cases after I try to clean them up. They'll just go in one of my cases. So I'm going to shoot my ceremonial first shot only with the B shaft. This guy is a little heavy, and the guy, I talked to the seller over the phone, and he says probably about 21. I have a scale, but I'm not going to make you sit through, me weighing it. It feels like it's probably about 21. And back then, in the 80s, I shot with a 21-ounce cue. I've dropped down to maybe about 19 and a half since then. But I'm not one of those guys that is like, I want, a 19.00014 weight. That's what my weight needs to be. I want my balance point to be whatever. I don't know what those are for me. I just kind of know what feels good and what I can make a ball with. All right, good. So I made the shot, so I don't have to throw the cue in the fireplace, and that's pretty cool. The more I look at it, I'm going to tell you, the more I look at it, the more I like it. It's reminding me of that Scruggs. When I saw pictures of the Scruggs, I was like, it's okay. It's a Tim Scruggs. That's the cool thing about it, but it doesn't look that good. Looking at the picture, I saw a picture of this one. The way these inlays are kind of, every other, you can see, you guys have eyes, or you wouldn't be watching YouTube. I thought it looked a little bit weird in the picture. But the more I look at this, the more that I like it. And in fact, I'm almost to the point where I think if these inlays were bigger, that this whole butt sleeve might be too busy. So these might be the perfect size. I've got to put the original bumper back on, and well, play with this. I'll be playing with this at least for the next several days, And then, like I said, I'll just have a decision to make. Is this my new main? Is my Southwest that I said was never going to be hung on the wall in any kind of permanent, fashion? Am I going to go hang that Southwest on the wall and shoot with this? If I do it, it will be because this deserves it. And so far, the race is still pretty darn close. I'm going to find my remote, and I have to take a picture for Facebook and bullshit like that. And I will talk to you guys later.